Hi, last night I watched The Cabinet of Caligari, an extremely loose remake of the classic 1920 German expressionist horror film The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, the film that basically invented modern horror films. This is an American film from 1962 and it stars Glynis Johns, better remembered from Mary Poppins 2 years later, as a woman who, while travelling cross country, has a car breakdown, walks to the nearest isolated country house, and is greeted by a mysterious bearded man named Caligari. He welcomes her into the home, gives her a bed for the night, and the following morning discovers that she is, in fact, a prisoner in the house. There are many other house guests, all of whom seem fairly amenable and pleasant, but there is a electric fence, there are guards patrolling the place with large dogs, and Caligari starts questioning the woman in detail and becoming increasingly intrusive and horrible. But she also establishes a relationship with two of the men there, Marcus, to whom she bears some kind of romantic relationship, and Paul, an older man who, with his pipe smoking manner, appears to be a doctor of some sort and may have some sort of connection to Caligari himself. It's a film that I thought was very well constructed and well thought out. It was clearly something of an A picture. This is a big 20th Century Fox production with CinemaScope, albeit shot in black and white. But if you know the twist from the ending of the original movie, you'll see why this film works the way it does. And I don't want to spoil that, even though this film is over 60 years old. If you know why the end of the original film is so famous, this is the only thing that it carries over apart from the name of the character Caligari. And as a result, it's a film that I think bears up to rewatching. It's something that has a lot of clues, has this huge central mystery that is then resolved very neatly, I think, and very interestingly. And although it leaves some dangling threads, they're more character based rather than plot based. It raises sort of interesting questions about the characters, or the central characters' psychology and perception of her environment. There are some fine performances. Glynis Johns, did not expect to see her in a psychological horror movie. I thought was very good. It has a very interesting style and tone. There are moments where the picture freeze frames or moves forward in stutters, which I think is an interesting choice of editing technique. And Dan O'Hurley, I thought, as both Paul and Caligari, showing that the two share some kind of connection. Um, I thought was superb. As Caligari, he's cold and distant and menacing. But as Paul, he's warm and avuncular and friendly and incredibly likable and charming and trustworthy. And it was a real demonstration of his range as an actor. I recently watched him also in Invasion USA. And he really stood out in that movie as being genuinely talented. He was, by that point, only 2 years off his Oscar nomination for the lead role in The Adventures of Robinson Crusoe. And I think he might be one of the great neglected actors. I've seen him in a few films now, and he's always engaging and charismatic and really standing out from even strong casts. Um, Overall, this is an interesting film. I don't recall seeing the original, but judged on its own merits, this works very well. The script by Robert Bloch, who wrote the original novels on which Psycho was based and wound up becoming a collaborator with Alfred Hitchcock on his TV show, I think twists the psychological knife and elements extremely well in developing this environment and drawing you in and keeping you engaged with the mystery and empathizing with the characters. It's something very odd, I think, but very intriguing and really quite good.